What, DJ, is a boy aquarium?
Hockey has a lot of new fans, some of them because of heated rivalry, the rest of them obviously because of heated rivalry as well. And as such, we have gotten so many requests to explain this wonderful sport to any newcomers. We're going to do exactly that with the video series in which we answer some of your questions, make this game of hockey a little easier to understand. And who better to do it with than our friend Steve Peters, aka Petey, a former NHL video coach who specializes in what? Making videos, explaining hockey, and making it easy to understand. Petey, thank you so much for doing it. You must be thrilled. This is right up your alley.
First of all, I live for the chaos. We all know that. But secondarily, what I do, I love to explain the game of hockey to people because this is a game that people don't grow up with. They don't understand. And it's hard to watch a game this fast if you don't know what's going on. It's too easy to change the channel and change your views of what you're watching. So I love this idea of trying to teach the game so people know what they're watching. This sport needs new fans, and this influx of new fans that they're getting right now is fantastic for the sport. So let's teach them the game.
Let's do it. Starting with a batch of questions, all of which came from the same person on Instagram. Shout out Gretchen, who sent What Chaos a very lengthy DM, or actually a short DM saying like, hey, I got some questions. And me, the idiot, I wrote back like 35 paragraphs and was like, oh, this could also be a video series. Let's tap in Petey. Question number one, what is icing? It's a very common question. And some of these I'll give you the kind of like idiot answer. And then Petey, whose job it was, like his job as a video coach was to see everything so well that he could notice if a mistake was made. And then his team could challenge and maybe take advantage and maybe like wipe a goal off the board or really change the game. So like Petey has been trained over the years to see hockey and understand it better than the rest of us, which is why I'm an idiot for being the first to answer this right now, which is icing is setting the puck the length of the ice. If you're in your defensive zone or if you're behind center ice and you send the puck the length of the ice and it goes past the goal line, that's icing. Petey, make it more understandable.
I think you did a great job, DJ. And first of all, if that is the cursory explanation you have for icing, that's all you need to know. But I think when we talk about icing or any of the rules, I think you need to start with the rule book. So when you look at the rule book for icing, it states, should any player of a team deflect the puck from his own half of the ice beyond the goal line of the opposing team, the play shall be stopped. And we need to see what that looks like. So if you see the Florida Panthers are on their defensive side of the red line and they shoot the puck all the way down across the goal line and no one touches it, this play could be icing. But there's one more thing. You have to win the race to the puck. And you have to do it by getting to an imaginary line between the dots. Whoever wins that race, that's whether the play is called icing or not. So you can see in this play, they dump the puck down. The Florida Panthers, the first to cross that imaginary line. That play is not icing. And the only way to really see it is to see this play in action. So let's go to the video and see what this looks like. So the Chicago Blackhawks have the puck on their side of the red line, the defensive side. No one touches the puck as it goes down. It goes completely across the goal line, and the defending team makes it to the imaginary line first. Well, that play is icing, and there will be a face-off on the other end of the ice. Here again, Vegas dumps the puck. Their side of the red line, no one touches the puck. The defending team makes it to the imaginary line first. This play is icing. Now, when is it not icing? Well, you can see the New York Rangers flip the puck out clearly from their own end of the ice, from their side of the red line, but their player wins the race to the imaginary line. There is no icing, and play will continue in the offensive zone for the New York Rangers. One more look at that. Winnipeg dumps it all the way down, and here's the race to the ice. The linesman sees it. The race is won by the offensive team, and play will continue. But there's one more thing when you can ice the puck legally, is when your opponent has a power play and you are killing the penalty. When you dump the puck completely down the ice, when you are shorthanded, it crosses the goal line, there is no icing when you have a penalty. And that is the best way to sum up icing as quickly as I can.
Amazing. Question 2 is kind of a two-parter, and I love it so much because it gets into how hard hockey is to play. How do players know when to go in or out? And if you're on a line, why doesn't everyone go on at once? It's a great question from Gretchen. And like, as I said, I like that it taps into how hard hockey is to play and why the last time I played hockey, I had an asthma attack. players are only out on the ice for a little bit at a time. Think 30 to 60 seconds. Like, that's it. And it's because it's such a taxing sport that if you want to keep it a fast game and not have guys just absolutely sucking wind out there, they're only out there for a little bit. Explain more.
And it's interesting, too, because you want to have your best players on the ice all the time, right? Like Connor McDavid, you want him out there for 60 minutes, but you can't. The best players on the ice are playing 20 to 22 minutes, and most forwards are playing 15 to 18. So you really have to monitor their ice time so you can keep players fresh as the game continues. So let's take a look at how you make line changes in the National Hockey League. And most often you change your line when there is a stoppage of play. The coach makes that determination, and he makes it because of where the faceoff is going to be, time left in the game, the score of the game, what opponents are going on the ice, who do I line match against, and how much ice time have my players had. And here's what it looks like when you change on the fly. It's the only sport where you can change while the play is going on. You can't do it in football, soccer, or basketball. So you can make changes, but why don't you change everybody at once? Well, when you change everybody at once, there's no one to defend open ice, and you end up with situations like this, where the opponent gets in behind your defense and they're able to create scoring opportunities. Again, you're going to see it here, where the New York Islanders all go for a line change at one time. Well, they suffer the consequence and have a 3-on-1 going back the other way. Most often teams change when the play is in the neutral zone because that's when it's the safest. But when you turn the puck over in the neutral zone, while you're trying to change, you're going to have an odd man rush going back the other way. And you're going to see it again here from DJ Bean's Oilman, where they get in transition off of a line change and they're able to create an offensive opportunity because of a late line change. But you can also take advantage of it offensively. You see the Dallas Stars here, change your player, and when you jump over the boards, you better be ready to play because you're right into the action when you're playing in hockey. And it's something teams practice. This is actually our practice plan from the Arizona Coyotes. This is a film we showed the players. When you come over the ice, this is where we want you to go. Line changes are incredibly important, but it's a subtle area of the game that a lot of people don't see.
This is one of my favorite hockey questions. My girlfriend, when she got into hockey, she could not get past the idea that such an important player would not be on the ice at all times. Our friend Tony X had a very famous Twitter thread back in the day when he watched hockey for the first time, in which he tweeted, "The goalie said fuck it and left." It's an important hockey question. Why does the goalie sometimes leave? There's two big reasons here. I would say the delayed penalty is probably what confuses people more. The end of the game, when a team is trying to get an extra skater out there so they have a better chance of scoring, is maybe a little easy to digest, but Petey, walk us through it.
Yeah, you're right. And we're going to start with the penalties. And this is frightening to people that don't understand the game. Here's a penalty. There's a tripping penalty. So the Anaheim goaltender leaves the ice. Why? Because now they have an advantage. They have 6 forwards versus the 5 forwards of the opposing team. And what does that difference do? Here's the penalty being called. And why is there nothing to be afraid of? Because when the opposing team finally does touch the puck after the goalie leaves and there was no one protecting the ice, when that defending team that has taken the penalty finally touches the puck right here, the play is stopped and they are no longer able to try to make a stab at the net. Now, the other time is when the game is coming close to an end. And this is a 1-goal game, under 2 minutes, team pull a goalie to get a man advantage. Think of it as a power play during the game. So it's going to look like a power play. Here the Islanders are a 6-on-5. It's going to look very much like a power play. And it's exciting. Here's Edmonton with 3, 2, 1 seconds to go with a pulled goaltender. It is some of the most exciting hockey that you can have, but it's a risk reward with no goaltender and not on a penalty where they touch it and the whistle blows. When you're doing it at the end of the game, the net is wide open, risk reward, and you're going to give up empty net goals.
There's a big tie-in here to the first question regarding icing, because as you said, it's so exciting late in games where a team is defending a 1-goal lead, but they want to score that empty net goal. So if they get the puck in their defensive zone, their goalie makes a save, they want to throw the puck down the length of the ice, score on the empty net, of course. But if they miss the empty net, there's a good chance that's going to be icing because they're sending the puck the length of the ice. And there's a consequence of icing, which is that you don't get to change your players if you've committed icing. So a lot of times the team that has their goalie pulled actually is putting the team that's defending on the ropes there because they're tiring them out and they're putting so much pressure on them. So you get so many great moments, so many of the most exciting plays you'll watch in hockey, as Petey alluded to there, will come when there's an empty net. And that's when a team scores when their goalie's pulled, or think, what was it, game 5, I want to say, of the 2024 Stanley Cup Final. Empty net attempt all the way the length of the ice. Matthew Tkachuk dives into his own net and is able to knock it away. It is always a nail-biting situation. Very, very exciting. This one's really perceptive from Gretchen. Question 4, why aren't there more coaches on the bench? As you see in the NFL, there's coaches everywhere. And do they have play cards like NFL coaches? This is a comment from Gretchen. They seem to have silent anger / hands in pocket rage. I love this question for you, Petey, because you were a coach.
The funniest part about this, before we get to the video, is, dude, I worked for Rick Tocchet, Dave Tippett, Wayne Gretzky. You talk about hands in the pocket, angry coaches. That's 3 of them. Wayne Gretzky could yell at a referee like no other coach I've ever worked for. So she nailed it when she talked about hand in the pockets, angry coaches. But the evolution of coaches has definitely changed through the years. So when I first started, there were 2 coaches behind the bench. As we roll this, Sean, that's changed. It might not be as many as football, where they have 1 for each position. There's a head coach, and there's often 3, sometimes 4 assistant coaches on the bench. And you see it across the league, how that has changed and evolved to have more coaches on the bench. Here's Florida with their 3 coaches. And as far as benches cards go, everybody's got them. You just don't see them because they're little small trifold that they keep in their pocket. But every coach has them. And they most often use them to hide what the heck they're saying to each other. And by the way, no one's watching what they're saying. There's Lane Lambert with a hands in the pocket angry look, but there are still some characters behind the bench. And one of them is Rick Tocchet, one of the guys I had to work for. So there are some guys that still bring some excitement behind the bench.
Amazing. And lastly, we have a bonus question. And this one comes from Petey himself, because Petey is getting so many new people asking him questions about hockey. But now, Petey, you're learning about hockey because there's new verbiage to you. What is your question?
Yeah, so I'm watching all these new fans gravitate to the sport that I love and has given me everything, without question. And I saw something on social media, on one of the social media applications, as they say, and I saw someone wearing a T-shirt saying, "Welcome to the Boy Aquarium." I to the life of me, no idea what that means. So what, DJ, is a Boy Aquarium?
Simply put, Sean, I think that you'll agree that the Boy Aquarium is typically an NHL hockey game. And there's obviously a bunch of amazing women players that you see in the PWHL, the Olympics, everything. But if somebody says they're going to the Boy Aquarium, think about it. These people are behind glass. Like it's like you're in an aquarium and you're going to see the boys on the ice like you would go to an aquarium. Is it objectifying the hockey players a little bit? Sure, but hopefully with some degree of taste, and none of the players feel like they're being put in any sort of weird position. But yes, it is where you go to look at the boys play hockey, the fish swim around on the ice. That is the Boy Aquarium, and it is a heck of a term. We love it. DJ, I've definitely said I'm going to the Boy Aquarium.
The education on what chaos runs both ways. Thank you, David, for that explanation.
Amazing. We're going to have more of these. And by the way, everybody check out Petey's channel, which is Inside the Coaches Room, where he'll do breakdowns of if there's a crazy play that happens, he'll have a video explaining this is what happened. And if you're confused about anything, typically he's got an answer to any hockey question you may have on that channel. It's absolutely fantastic. We're going to have more of these with Petey, so keep sending us questions, and we're going to be very happy to answer them. Thank you very much, Petey.
Thanks for having me, DJ. As always, love being on the Chaos.
If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to What Chaos here on YouTube. You will get everything: daily episodes, player interviews, and so much more. It's all here on the What Chaos YouTube. Hit subscribe.